What happens when you ignore God's voice? Start listening. Let me ask you a question, not with curiosity, but with urgency. What happens when God keeps speaking to you and you keep ignoring him? Maybe you already know that feeling, a quiet warning in your heart, a verse that keeps appearing over and over, a sense that something needs to change, a conviction that won't leave you alone. You tell yourself, I'll deal with it later, I'm busy, I know what I'm doing, I can handle it. But deep inside, you know exactly what God is saying, and the more you avoid it, the louder everything else becomes: stress, temptation, frustration, confusion, disappointment, anxiety. Here's the reality nobody likes to admit. Ignoring God doesn't silence him, it silences you. Ignoring God doesn't free you, it traps you in your own decisions. When God speaks, he isn't giving you suggestions like a life coach. He isn't negotiating with your feelings. He isn't giving friendly opinions. He is protecting you from what you can't see yet. He sees the trap before you step on it. He sees the heartbreak before it breaks you. He sees the attack before you even sense danger. And when he speaks, it's not to limit you, it's to save you from a future that will destroy you. Some people think God is silent, but the truth is, God is speaking more than ever. We just got good at ignoring him. So today, I want to walk you through what truly happens, spiritually, emotionally, and practically, when someone ignores God's voice, not to scare you, but to awaken you, not to condemn you, but to protect you. Because the most dangerous decision you can ever make is not choosing the wrong path. It's refusing to listen when God tells you to turn. Part 1. God speaks. More than you realize. Most people don't deny the existence of God. They deny his voice. We expect God to speak through thunder, miracles, angels, burning bushes, prophetic dreams, and supernatural signs. We imagine something dramatic and undeniable. A voice booming from heaven, saying, "This is the way, follow me." But what if that dramatic voice is the rare case, not the usual one? What if God's most powerful words don't shake mountains? They shake your heart. God's voice often doesn't sound like a voice. It sounds like conviction, like peace, like discomfort, like a holy warning, like truth that refuses to leave you alone. He speaks through his word, the Bible you keep scrolling past. He speaks through a worship song that suddenly hits you differently. He speaks through a sermon that feels like it was written only for you. He speaks through a closed door, not because he's punishing you, but because he's protecting you. He speaks through relationships, sending people into your life and removing others. Sometimes he speaks by repeating something again and again until you finally listen. Other times he speaks by staying silent, not because he abandoned you, but because you're so distracted you wouldn't hear him even if he shouted. We often ask, why won't God speak to me? Yet God is asking, why won't you listen? We hear God most clearly when our hearts are willing to obey him before he even explains. But when we only want God to confirm what we already want to do, we don't hear him because we're not listening. We're negotiating. Think about this. How many regrets in your life came from ignoring something you felt you shouldn't do? You blamed your emotions, your naivety, your situation, but deep down you knew. Something warned you, something convicted you, something nudged you, and that something was someone. God isn't silent. He has been speaking. The question is not, is God talking? It's, are you listening? Part 2. Ignoring God starts with small disobedience. Ignoring God rarely starts with rebellion. It starts with negotiation. Nobody wakes up one morning and says, "Today I will disobey God." No one suddenly decides to break his commands, dishonor his voice, or walk away from his direction. Instead, it begins subtly. One small compromise, one delayed obedience, one harmless decision that feels too small to matter. It starts when God whispers, "Don't do that," and you respond, It's just this once. He nudges you, stay away from that relationship, but you think, I know it's risky, but I can handle it. He warns you, don't go there, and you reply, I'll just go for a little while. Nothing will happen. Then the next small step comes, a text you know you shouldn't answer, a habit you know is unhealthy, a conversation you know is toxic, a desire you know is dangerous, and you justify it by saying, this isn't a sin, this isn't a big deal. But here's the truth. The devil doesn't need you to reject God. He only needs you to delay obeying him. Because delayed obedience is disobedience in disguise. Small compromises don't stay small. A crack in a dam doesn't flood a city immediately. It starts as a drip, a leak, a small weakness that everyone ignores, until the entire structure collapses. And when everything finally falls apart, people are shocked. But heaven isn't shocked. Hell isn't shocked. The warning signs were there the whole time. Sin doesn't usually show up bold, ugly, and obvious. It starts looking harmless, comfortable, acceptable, even justified. It looks like, I deserve this. It promises pleasure, but never mentions consequences. It offers freedom, but never tells you the price. Think about King Saul. His downfall didn't begin when he lost his crown. It began when he refused to obey God completely. He obeyed almost, but not fully, and almost obedience became the doorway to total destruction. Let this sink in. The small instructions of God protect you from big disasters. When you ignore the little things, you unknowingly walk toward things that will cost you everything. God's warnings are not random. His restrictions are not control. His convictions are not punishment. They are guardrails placed to protect your purpose. They are divine fences built not to keep you trapped, but to keep your calling safe. So when God speaks, don't negotiate, don't delay, don't reason with your flesh. Your future depends on your willingness to obey him now, not later. Because every step of disobedience begins with one thought. This doesn't matter, but it always matters. Part 3. When you ignore God, you invite other voices. When you stop listening to God, you don't step into silence. You step into confusion, because when one voice is rejected, another voice replaces it. Life never leaves you without influence. Your mind doesn't operate without guidance. Your heart doesn't make decisions without direction. If God isn't the one guiding you, then something else will. There are many voices fighting for your attention. The voice of your feelings telling you to do whatever seems right now. The voice of your desires, convincing you that comfort is more important than obedience. The voice of fear, keeping you paralyzed, causing you to ignore God's call because it doesn't feel safe. The voice of pride, whispering that you don't need God's guidance, that you can manage life on your own. The voice of the world, pushing you to be accepted, admired, and validated by people who don't even know your purpose. And then there is the voice of the enemy, subtle at first, but deadly in the end, twisting truth just enough to make disobedience look reasonable. Remember this: Satan doesn't shout. He suggests. He doesn't demand. He persuades. He doesn't start with rebellion. He starts with a question. Did God really say? That was his strategy in Eden, and it still works today. When you ignore God, your spiritual senses begin to dull. You start calling good things too extreme, holy things too strict, and sinful things not that bad. You trade conviction for compromise. You trade truth for preference. You begin to say things like, it's not exactly a sin. I don't feel convicted about it. Everyone else is doing it. God understands. He knows my heart. And here's the tragedy. Your heart is the very thing God is trying to protect from your own impulses. When we choose our feelings over God's voice, we're not choosing freedom. We're choosing slavery, disguised as freedom. Because the voice you listen to is the master you serve. And if it isn't the voice of God, then it is a voice working against what God wants to build in you. Think about that. Your destiny is shaped by the voice you follow. Your peace is controlled by the voice you believe. Your decisions are influenced by the voice you trust. Ignoring God isn't just disobedience. It's open access to every voice that wants to destroy your purpose. So ask yourself, who have you been listening to? What voices have been shaping your choices, your relationships, your habits, your values, your identity? Because if you're ignoring God, you're listening to someone else. And not every voice has your best interest in mind. Only one does. Part 4. God warns before he disciplines. One of the greatest misunderstandings about God is this: people think his discipline is sudden. They think God just gets angry one day and decides to punish them. But Scripture reveals something far deeper. Before God disciplines, he warns. Before he judges, he calls. Before he corrects, he tries to save. God never acts without first reaching for you. Think about the story of Noah. The flood didn't come without warning. God waited. He called. He allowed time for repentance. Judgment was never the first step. Mercy was. Think about Israel. God sent prophet after prophet, not to condemn, but to call them back. Their destruction was not God's impatience. It was their ongoing refusal to listen. Think about Jonah and Nineveh. God didn't destroy them instantly. He sent a messenger. He sent a warning. He offered redemption first. Even in the story of Adam and Eve, God didn't strike them instantly. He asked questions. He reached out. He called to Adam, "Where are you?" Not because he didn't know, but because he was giving Adam a chance to come back to him. Do you see it? God's warnings are invitations. They are his mercy before discipline, his love before correction, his voice before consequences. He warns, not because he wants to punish you, but because he wants to protect you. But here's the painful truth. When people ignore God long enough, they eventually mistake his patience for permission. They think if this were wrong, something bad would have happened by now. If God really cared, he would have stopped me. I'm still fine. Nothing has changed. But consequences don't come instantly. Sin can feel comfortable before it becomes destructive. A rope can feel harmless while it's being wrapped around your hands. But the danger is when it tightens. And when it tightens, it's too late to negotiate. This is why God warns you now, before it tightens, before it breaks you, before it costs you what you can't replace. His discipline isn't him punishing you out of anger. It's him protecting your destiny from your decisions. It's him stepping in when you refuse to turn around. It's him saving you from self-destruction. If God ever has to discipline you, it's not because he gave up on you. It's because he refused to let you destroy yourself. His warnings are love. His patience is love. His discipline is love that refuses to stay silent. Part 5. Ignoring God leads to comfort without peace. When you ignore God long enough, life doesn't always fall apart immediately. In fact, sometimes the opposite happens. You get exactly what you wanted, the relationship you chased, the money you compromised for, the business you forced open, the pleasure you craved, the plan you insisted on, the lifestyle you refused to let go of. It might even feel like this is working. Maybe God is fine with it. Maybe it wasn't wrong after all. But there is a dangerous reality hidden behind that temporary satisfaction. You can have comfort without peace. Comfort is temporary. Peace is eternal. Comfort satisfies the body. Peace guards the soul. Comfort comes from your decisions. Peace comes only from God. People chase comfort because it feels good. They seek peace only when they realize comfort didn't fill the emptiness. You can sleep in a soft bed and still have a restless heart. You can sit in a luxurious home and still feel spiritually homeless. You can feast on success and still be starving for purpose. Ignoring God won't always ruin your life instantly, but it will always remove your peace. Your mind becomes loud, even when your life looks quiet. Your soul feels heavy, even when everything seems fine on the outside. You get what you wanted, but lose the ability to enjoy it. You feel full in your hands, but empty in your heart. Why? Because God's voice doesn't just lead you to blessings. It leads you to the right blessings. Not every opportunity is from Him. Not every open door is meant for you. Not every desire should be pursued. Some blessings are bait. Some successes are traps. Some wins are losses in disguise. And when God isn't the one guiding you, you can climb to a place you're not built to stand on. You can inherit something you're not prepared to protect. You can enter a relationship you're not called to survive. You can step into a future you aren't spiritually strong enough to handle. That's why ignoring God leads to a strange and painful contradiction. You achieve what you wanted, but you can't enjoy it. You possess things, but they don't possess meaning. You get comfort, but no peace. Peace is not the absence of conflict. Peace is the presence of God. So ask yourself, is your life comfortable, or is it peaceful? Did you build this with God, or without Him? Are you living your way, or His way? Because a life without God may look successful, but it will never be satisfied. Part 6. God sometimes withdraws to wake you up. There is a moment in a believer's life that feels terrifying, confusing, and deeply lonely. A moment when it seems like God has stepped back, not because He abandoned you, but because He is trying to awaken you. You pray, but you don't feel anything. You read the Bible, but it feels dry. You worship, but it doesn't move your heart. Life goes on, but something feels missing. It's like heaven has gone quiet. Most people panic when they feel this distance, but the truth is powerful and humbling. God sometimes withdraws His felt presence to reveal who you have been depending on. If you only seek God when He makes you feel something, you weren't seeking Him, you were seeking the feeling. If you worship only when you sense the Spirit, you weren't worshiping God, you were worshiping the atmosphere. If you obey only when it benefits you, you weren't serving the King, you were serving your preferences. So God steps back, not because He stopped loving you, but because He's exposing what has been controlling you more than His voice. Just like a parent lets a child walk alone for a few steps so they learn to stand, God allows distance so that your spiritual muscles grow. He allows silence so you can finally hear the truth about yourself. He allows emptiness so you realize that nothing can fill you except Him. When the prodigal son walked away, the father didn't chase him into the distant land. He didn't fund his rebellion. He didn't make rebellion feel comfortable. He let the son feel the consequences of living without him. Why? Because the pain would become the teacher that pride refused to listen to. And when the son hit rock bottom, when the friends disappeared, when the money was gone, when the comfort turned into humiliation, only then did he remember the Father's house. Distance wasn't rejection. Pain wasn't punishment. Silence wasn't abandonment. It was mercy, loud enough to bring him home. Sometimes God lets you feel what life is like without Him, so you'll never want to live without Him again. He steps back so you can step up. He becomes quiet so you become desperate for His voice. He stops chasing you so you finally start chasing Him. This is not God giving up on you. It's God waking you up. It's love refusing to be ignored. So if you feel that distance, don't run further. Don't fill it with distractions. Don't numb it with pleasure. Don't busy yourself with accomplishments. Instead, let it break your pride. Let it humble your heart. Let it lead you back to the one who never stopped waiting for you. Part 7. When you ignore God, your purpose starts to die. The most tragic thing about ignoring God isn't that you lose His blessings. It's that you lose yourself. You weren't created just to survive, earn money, build a career, make a name, or seek comfort. You were created with a divine assignment, a purpose that comes from heaven, not society, not circumstance, not family expectations, and not personal ambition. But when you ignore the voice of God, something far deeper than your circumstances begins to suffer. Your purpose starts to fade. You may still be busy, but not called. You may still be productive, but not effective. You may still be successful, but not impactful. You may be achieving goals, but not fulfilling destiny. Life without God's direction doesn't always look broken. It looks normal, average, predictable, safe, and worst of all, empty. Saul was still king, long after God rejected his leadership. He still wore the crown. He still sat on the throne. He still looked powerful, but his purpose had already died. His position survived longer than his calling. And that's what happens when you ignore God. You can still hold a title, relationship, reputation, position, or success, but lose your spiritual purpose. You don't lose everything at once. You just slowly lose the meaning behind everything. Your calling begins to suffocate under distractions. Your gifts become tools for personal gain instead of kingdom impact. Your talents no longer serve God. They serve your ego, your comfort, your insecurity, your desires. And then one day you wake up and wonder, how did I get here? Where did my fire go? Why don't I feel called anymore? Purpose doesn't die in a day. It dies when God's voice is replaced by your preferences. It dies when you chase validation instead of obedience. It dies when you settle for comfort instead of surrender. It dies when you live for applause instead of assignment. But here's the good news. If ignoring God slowly kills purpose, listening to Him instantly resurrects it. He can breathe life into the dry bones of your calling. He can reignite a fire you thought was permanently gone. He can restore years you wasted on things that didn't matter. He can revive dreams you buried under fear, compromise, procrastination, and pride. All it takes is one surrendered moment, one yes, one step back toward His voice, one act of obedience, one decision to stop negotiating and start listening. Because your purpose is not dead, it's waiting for you to stop ignoring the one who wrote it. Part 8. The voice of God is not just instruction, it's protection. Most people think God's voice is just about rules, things to do and things to avoid. They think God is constantly saying, stop this, don't touch that, walk away, turn around. And because of that misconception, they assume that obeying God will make life smaller, more restricted, less fun, less fulfilling. But the voice of God was never designed to limit you. It was designed to protect you. A traffic sign doesn't exist to ruin your drive. It exists to prevent you from dying on the road. It doesn't restrict your travel. It ensures you reach your destination safely. In the same way, God's words are not a prison. They are a shield. When God says, don't go there, it's not to rob you of adventure. It's to protect your destiny. When He says, let go of that person, it's not to make you lonely. It's to remove someone who will destroy your peace. When He says, wait, it's not to waste your time. It's to build your strength for what you're about to receive. When He says, turn back, it's not to shame you. It's to rescue you from consequences you can't see yet. God doesn't speak to control you. He speaks to guard what He has prepared for you. He sees the trap before you see the temptation. He sees the heartbreak before you see the excitement. He sees the danger behind the opportunity you think you need. To ignore His voice is to walk blind into a battlefield. To disobey His guidance is to argue with the one who knows the future. To resist His convictions is to fight against the very love that is trying to save you. That's why the enemy doesn't need to silence God. He just needs to convince you to ignore Him. Because when you ignore God, you walk without armor. You love without discernment. You make decisions without protection. You build without a foundation. You run without direction. But when you listen, truly listen, you don't just receive instructions. You receive safety, clarity, confidence, peace, protection, and blessing. God's commands are not burdens. They are lifelines. They are shields for your soul. They are strategies for victory. They are warnings backed by love. They are road signs leading you to purpose. So the question is not, what is God telling you to do? The real question is, Will you trust the one who sees what you cannot? Because obeying God isn't just about doing what is right. It's about staying alive spiritually, staying protected emotionally, and staying aligned with the destiny He designed specifically for you. When God speaks, it's not just instruction, it's rescue, it's protection, it's love. Conclusion. So here we stand. After everything we've uncovered, ignoring God isn't just a mistake. It's a slow drift toward a life without clarity, without purpose, without peace. A journey into confusion disguised as freedom. You don't lose God's voice all at once. You lose it when you convince yourself that you don't need it. You lose it when comfort feels safer than conviction, when feelings speak louder than truth, when the world becomes more persuasive than the word, when you keep telling God, later. But what if later never comes? What if the warning you're feeling today is God's final rescue attempt before consequences begin to teach you what obedience refused to? What if that conviction in your heart is the last bridge between you and a future that will break you? Hear this clearly. God's voice is not a threat, it's a lifeline. Ignoring Him won't free you. It will trap you in battles you were never meant to fight, with burdens you were never meant to carry, and with outcomes you were never built to survive alone. But the good news is simple, powerful, and full of grace. You don't need to live another day ignoring Him. Obedience doesn't take years to start. It takes a decision, just one, sincere, humble decision. God, I'm listening now. It doesn't matter how long you've run. It doesn't matter how many signs you've ignored. It doesn't matter how numb your heart feels. The moment you turn your ear back to Him, He speaks again. He restores again. He guides again. He protects again. He resurrects your purpose again. You don't need to clean yourself to come back. You don't need to fix everything before you listen. You don't need to understand the whole plan. You just need to surrender. Because God isn't asking for your perfection. He's asking for your attention. So before you chase another answer, before you choose another path, before you silence His voice one more time, stop, listen, and let God lead you. Not because you're afraid of what will happen if you ignore Him, but because you finally understand the beauty of what happens when you follow Him.